Hello guys, welcome to PMEB's YouTube channel. My name is Tunde and today we'll be discussing the Australian point system. Yes, Australia, allegedly where all the wild animals from Noah's Ark were dumped after the flood. If you find this material educative or useful, you can subscribe and like our YouTube channel. Thank you. The Australian point system is used to assess a skilled immigrant's eligibility for permanent residency. It's also used to assess such an applicant's ability to contribute to the Australian economy and community at large. Under this, there are three streams of visa we are going to examine. The first being the subclass 189, skilled independent visa. The second is the subclass 190, skilled nominated visa, and the third is subclass 491, which is the skilled work regional visa. Before I delve into what these streams of visa mean, it's pertinent to state that for you to create an expression of interest form on the Australian website, you need to satisfy the minimum requirement of 65 points out of an achievable 130 points. Yes, 65 points out of an achievable 130 points. And in achieving these points, there are certain factors and considerations looked at, namely age, educational qualification, language proficiency results test, and others. Now, you can visit the Australian immigration website to have a dummy test carried out by the Australian point system calculator, wherein you input certain answers to questions posed and you get an estimate of what your point might be when you're actually ready to put in. Don't forget, it's an estimation. The main thing will be done by the Australian Department of Home Affairs. I mentioned three streams of visa earlier. The subclass 189, which is the skilled independent visa. This allows for independent skilled workers to come to Australia to work, live, and reside, in as much as the skills which they have is required by the Australian community at large. Now, there are a few things to note under this stream of visa. One being, you need to achieve the 65 points minimum requirement to create an expression of interest form. The second thing is you need to make sure that your occupation is on the list of relevant eligible skilled occupations. The third thing is you need to have the necessary skills, by which you must carry out a skill assessment to be done by the relevant body in Australia. The next thing is to have a competent English language proficiency result. And the last one is to meet the health and character requirements as stipulated by the Australian government. The second stream of visa mentioned is the subclass 190, the skilled nominated visa. For the skilled nominated visa, this allows for invited skilled workers to come to Australia to live, work, and reside. There are a few things to note under this, and this differs a little bit from the first stream of visa, which is subclass 189, which I discussed earlier. And the similarities between them, first and foremost, are: 1, you need to meet the health and character requirements. 2, you need to have a competent English language proficiency result. 3, you need to make sure that your occupation is on the list of eligible skilled occupation. You need to make sure that you have skill assessments done, or you need to obtain a favorable skill assessment from the relevant body to carry out the skill assessment test. The third stream of visa to be discussed is the skilled work regional visa, subclass 491. This allows skilled workers who wish to live, work, and reside in Australia permanently. Now, what are the things to note? Just like the other streams of visa, you need to achieve the minimum requirement of 65 points out of an achievable 130. You need to make sure that your occupation is on the list of relevant skilled occupations. You need to make sure that you have or you obtain a favorable skill assessment by the relevant body to carry out the skill assessment test in Australia. You need to meet the health and character requirements. You also need to have a competent English language proficiency result. Now, the definitive point under this subclass 491 is you need to be nominated by an Australian state or territory government or by a family or relative that resides in the region which you wish to apply to and you wish to get an invite from your submission of your expression of interest from. Now, I'll need to draw quick similarities between 491 and 190. In both class of visas, you need a nomination, as opposed to subclass 189, wherein you don't need a nomination. Now, the difference between 491 and 190 simply is, in 491 or under 491, you can get a family or relative to sponsor an applicant, while under 190, there's no such option for sponsorship by family relative. It's only done by the Australian state or territory government. But under 491, you have the Australian state or territory government nominating you, or sponsorship by a family or relative that is eligible and that resides in that region in Australia you wish to apply to. What next to be discussed are the factors considered under the point system in allocation of points to applicants. The first factor is age. Candidates within the age of 18 to 44 get points, while candidates above 44 don't get any point under this factor. You can see the breakdown for the cadre of ages on your screen. The second factor to be discussed is English language proficiency, and the points awarded to each cadre is displayed on your screen. For competent, 0, proficient, 10 points, superior, 20 points. The next factor is the skilled employment or work experience. Experience outside Australia and experience in Australia. You can see the breakdown of years in which equals points as regards experience outside Australia and experience inside Australia on your screen. The next factor is educational qualifications. A PhD holder gets 20 points, a master or BSc holder gets 15 points, and a diploma holder gets 10 points as displayed on your screen. Specialized education gets 10 points. Once your master's is considered to fall under this category, such a person is eligible to get 10 points. Nominations. Under subclass 190 of the visa stream and subclass 491, we discussed that there might be a need to have nominations from a state or territory government, and under 190, if you have such nomination, you get 5 points. Under 491, if you have such nominations, you get 15 points. Australia is a beautiful city. It recently hosted the Female World Cup alongside New Zealand, and it allowed a lot of persons visit Australia for the first time. And we also didn't see any wild animals running onto the pitch. So overcome your fear of Australia. Apply right now. If you found this video useful or informative, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like buttons. Ciao.